Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings and my weekly radio show, Operation Freedom, is to provide you information the bought-off, lamestream, fake media will never present. My goal is to empower you, to educate you with information that ultimately we can use to defeat our enemy. The enemy? The deep state, whose goals and objectives are to strip every American of our remaining freedoms and liberties. Now, for the radio show, you can join us every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. It's free. All you have to do, you can stream it live. Go to davejanda.com, hit the listen button. It'll take you to Wham Talk 1600's streaming service. Just hit the play button and you're with us. Great analysis, great guests. Again, information you're not going to get from another platform. Here's a good example. This past Memorial Day weekend, the show that we did was a bit of a best of show. I did an original segment to lead the show off, and then I brought together the 5 interviews that have had what my listeners tell me have been the most profound impact, positive impact on their liberties and freedoms, because it outed significant, huge pieces of information that they were completely unaware of. One of the segments featured General Tom McInerney. It was from March 19th, 2017. On that day, on our live radio show, General McInerney came on the show with the support of Admiral Ace Lyons. They presented blockbuster information about how the Obama administration had not just been abusing the NSA system and the 702 reporting system, but in fact, General McInerney, with Admiral Lyons, presented information that was far more sinister. That Obama and Brennan and Clapper, with the cover and assistance of the FBI, formerly through Mueller, and then throughout the Obama administration with Comey, were running what was called a parallel platform, an illegal surveillance system. They commandeered what was a legal surveillance system that was looking at terrorists in foreign lands. They commandeered it, and they used it just for themselves to gain control, to gain information, so that that information that could then be used for blackmail and coercion. These parallel platforms did not have a reporting system embedded within them, as opposed to the NSA system. And Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe, the 2 foremost experts in surveillance technology and platforms, who are friends of ours, who've done a number of videos with us on this situation, they helped develop that NSA platform, and they internally had a log system built in so that if someone didn't go through the 702 reporting system and try to use it for their own personal use, there was an internal reporting system, a log system that would report that illegal criminal behavior and activity. The sinister part of these parallel platforms, one of which is something called the Hammer, is there was no internal reporting system. So these criminals in the Obama administration, including Obama himself, could use that system to gain information to leverage people. And there was no reporting system. They could do it, and no one would know. No footprints. There are those that claim that all the illegal surveillance that was done on Trump and his family and the campaign and those around him, including General Flynn, was all done through the NSA system. And then there are people such as General McInerney Admiral Lyons, Bill Binney, Kirk Wiebe, Paul Rosenberg, IT expert extraordinaire, investigative journalists that cracked open this entire illegal surveillance platform issue, Mary Fanning and Alan Jones, two of the best investigative journalists in our country. They cross their T's and they dot their I's, and then they check them again. And what we've done on this platform, we've all said NSA was abused. But it's a tip of the iceberg. Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe left the NSA in 2001, became whistleblowers. One of the reasons was of how it was being abused. So to say that it's all NSA abuse and 702s that some have claimed is old news. That's 19 years old. Come on, gang. It's 2020. The problem is that when you deny about the existence of these parallel platforms, and by the way, if you go to the top of this YouTube channel, Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe, the two foremost experts in surveillance platforms, for the first time publicly, and you'll see that video, spoke about the fact that they actually were also involved in parallel platforms. Yet there are people that say, well, parallel platforms don't exist. Stop it. 2020. Don't be living back in 2000. They do exist. The first whistleblower was a guy by the name of Dennis Montgomery, who was the developer of this Hammer system. The second and third whistleblowers on these parallel platforms were Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe. And what do they have in common? They're not only all brilliant in technology, they just don't talk about it. They actually develop it and design it. But the three of them have been demonized, slandered, libeled, defamed for telling the truth. All three of them. Robert Mueller sent agents into their homes with guns drawn. Montgomery, they actually even tied to a tree in his front yard while they took information and documents and computers out of his house. But there was a judge in Nevada that said, whoa, this is off the charts, Mueller. Hand it back over to Montgomery. So those that are denying parallel platforms and just saying it's all NSA, what are they doing? They're protecting the very people that were the criminals involved in the illegal surveillance through parallel platforms, because they're saying they don't exist. It essentially gives a pass to Obama, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Mueller, all those in the FBI and the CIA and God knows what other organization that were involved in harvesting illegal information on not just Donald Trump, his family, not just General Flynn, but thousands of Americans, including you and me. Last Thursday, Sidney Powell, the phenomenal attorney for General Flynn, who without Sidney Powell, I believe General Flynn would be incarcerated today, an innocent man in jail. He's already been a political prisoner, as has his family, for almost 4 years now. Political prisoners of the deep state. And let's get it straight. It's not just D's that are part of the deep state. There's a whole lot of R's, people with R's after their name, that are part of the deep state. Don't buy into that right-left BS. It's up, down. Up being freedom, down being oppression. And the two greatest freedom fighters that we have right now in our country are General Flynn and Sidney Powell. Because they're exposing how the deep state oppresses people. They leverage people. They compromise people. And how do they do that? Through illegal surveillance. This past Thursday, right before Memorial Day weekend, Sidney Powell was on Fox Business News, and she was being interviewed. Great interview. with Elizabeth McDonald. And I want to play part of that interview for you. Let's see if we can pull this off. Listen close. Listen to when she says, right before when she says yet, when she talks about Obama, yet, and then after yet, listen very closely to what she says. Let's hit it.
Who ordered the FBI to do that?
That would be difficult to say. It seems to have come out of the White House, but I don't know that it can be completely traced to there yet. Obviously, Susan Rice was extremely interested in General Flynn's work, and of course, Clapper and Brennan were all over it because he had testified contrary to them about ISIS when he was head of DIA and had a target on his back for a long time for contradicting the Obama administration's position on ISIS and the Iran nuclear deal, among other things. He was also going to audit the intel agencies. And
listen close.
Understood. You can continue.
So he was going to audit the intel agencies if he came into the White House, and that was one of the things they were terrified of. Plus, they knew as NSA, he would immediately discover their FISA abuses and the incredible widespread general surveillance abuses of the administration. I don't know whether it's from Mr. Brennan's fusion center that he set up to focus on whoever he wanted to focus on, or whether it's something called the Hammer or what it is, but there was a massive surveillance operation, very widespread, by the Obama administration to surveil all political opponents and anybody else they wanted to collect information on using the NSA database as their own little research operation.
Boom. The Hammer. Don't you find it interesting that within 24 hours after that interview aired live, Christopher Wray, the now director of the FBI, all of a sudden found religion? He made an announcement that Friday morning. We're going to start to look at how this information was obtained on General Flynn. Where you been, man? You've been the director for years. Where you been? The hammer got dropped right on the deep state last Thursday night. As I understand it, it caused huge panic in D.C. I can tell you the night of March 19, 2017, when I did that live interview with General McInerney, there's documentation released from the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz of the Department of Justice. Strzok and Page started texting each other frantically immediately after our interview. And I understand there was frantic behavior yet again this past Thursday night when Sidney Powell blew the whistle on the hammer. So why would Wray be so interested at this point? Because as the whistleblower Dennis Montgomery has maintained for years, and by the way, Dennis Montgomery was provided 2 immunity agreements by turning in information about the illegal surveillance. Also, back in 2006, Negroponte, the director of national intelligence, hit Dennis Montgomery what's called a state secrets privilege, which precludes him from speaking in public about illegal surveillance and the hammer, because it would put our country in harm's way if the information was divulged. If he did divulge it, he's looking at a trip straight to prison. So in other words, they put a sock in his mouth, and then they put a gag around his mouth so that this information could not come forward. But some of the information that Montgomery had previously brought forward was that Mueller, when he was director of the FBI, funded and provided the support for the Hammer surveillance program and platform. And then Mueller, followed by Comey, who succeeded him as director of the FBI, then ran interference and cover for the operators of that system, the main operators being Brennan and Clapper and Obama. I want to share with you an email I received Friday morning from General Tom McInerney. Friday morning, investigative journalists Mary Fanning and Alan Jones published another article entitled Obama Exposed. There were no FISA warrants. There was no incidental surveillance. There was the hammer, the persecution of General Flynn. Mary Fanning and Alan Jones have a large number of articles in the series related to this illegal surveillance. Many people say, well, why isn't the mainstream media talking about this? Come on, the bought-off lamestream fake media is a tentacle of the deep state. This is a deep state operation. You expect them to come forward with that? And let me tell you something, when you do come forward with this information, trust me on this, you're slandered, libeled, defamed, demonized, and threatened. It's just a whole lot easier to keep your mouth shut. General McInerney sent me and a number of others this email with this article that had just come out from Mary Fanning and Alan Jones. Imperative you read this being the article, as Mary Fanning and Alan Jones have exposed the real truth of the corruption of Obama and his intelligence community and the Department of Justice, with the operations of taking down General Flynn plus the others in their attempt to remove President Donald Trump and cover up all the corruption that went and continues to go on with the mainstream media, lamestream media. Congress and the judge overseeing General Flynn's case, Judge Emmett Sullivan. Thank you, Mary and Alan, for writing this brilliant article. Also, thank you for pointing out that Admiral Ace Lyons and I, General McInerney, exposed the hammer in March 2017 on Dave Janda's radio show Operation Freedom. Little did we know how corrupt Obama and his administration were and to what lengths they would go to cover up their corruptness and continue to do so as I type this statement. I'm going to ask our IT people to have the article present for you to read in the description section, but I encourage you to go to theamericanreport.com. AmericanReport.com. I also go under AmericanReport.org. There's to really get up to date on this, you really got to go through their series of articles. And if you want to hear the entire Sidney Powell interview on Fox Business News, go to davejanda.com, and I have it on the left-hand column where, and if you hit that, you'll see the interview there with Fox Business News with Sidney Powell, the link.